Welcome back, it's the third episode of Know Your Bass Player. Today, we're talking Duff McKagan of Guns N' Roses. Duff grew up in Seattle in the early 80s and brought with him his punk rock style, attitude and sound to the LA rock scene. Duff has been in at least a dozen bands over the years, and in this video we're going to cover all of his gear from the start of Guns N' Roses right up to the current Not In This Lifetime tour. His Velvet Revolver gear can be found in a video later on, which you can find a link for in the description down below. Duff's first show of Guns N' Roses was at the Troubadour on the 6th of June 1985, giving way to the classic Appetite for Destruction we know and love. In 1985, he was seen specifically at gigs using a Yamaha BB400, with a rosewood fingerboard and a reverse humbucker. The same bass is later seen with a maple neck. And this is peculiar because Yamaha didn't make BB basses with maple necks. The headstock has no logo on it and it can be presumed that this is a replacement due to damage. In September of the same year, Guns N' Roses played the LA Street Sing Festival, where Duff was using a black Fender Precision bass. It had a white pickguard and a white pickup. This bass has been seen in bands prior to Guns N' Roses, but only used for this gig and never seen since. Signing with Geffen Records in March of 1986, the band got a $37,000 advance between them. Duff spent his share of the money on the iconic bass that we know him for. Duff's selection was a 1986, made in Japan, Fender Jazz Bass Special. As the name implies, this is a special bass. Whilst named a jazz bass and built with a slimmer jazz bass neck of 1.5 inches, the body profile is larger than that of a precision bass. Duff removed the stock single coil from the bridge and replaced it with a Seymour Duncan hot stack, leaving the humbucker as it is. We discussed these pickups and tone in a lot more detail in part 2. A link for that will be in the description. Another feature of this bass is its treble bass expander. Turning the knob clockwise will give you more presence and brightness, and turning it counterclockwise will roll off the highs. This modification acts and sounds like an active circuit, but without the need of a battery. For touring, Duff needed a second bass and looked to buy a second Jazz Bass Special. These models were only produced between 1984 and 1987. Out of options, Duff went to Fender and requested they build him a custom shop model. When he got the bass back, he felt like something was wrong with the neck, and it didn't feel like his original. Fender investigated further, scanning a 3D model of the neck. It showed his original Jazz Bass Special had a manufacturing defect, making the neck wider, asymmetrical, and egg-shaped. Duff has expressed a serious preference of this size and shape. Later basses of Duff's are all built the same way, with a neck width of 1.6 inches. This is also present in the Fender Precision Duff McKagan signature model, but we'll talk about that in a later video. Duff customized his first Jazz Bass Special with a skull and crossbones logo, and is seen throughout much of the early days of Guns N' Roses. This specific bass was retired by the time he got to Velvet Revolver, and these days only used for recording. We see it in the videos Welcome to the Jungle, Paradise City, Don't Cry, and Live and Let Die. His backup bass had a decal of a blindfolded skeletal woman missing her lower half, forming a crossbone underneath. Across the horn of the bass, it reads Jennifer.
It's not Jennifer.
It's not Jennifer. He also had a black custom Jazz Bass Special, which we've seen in You Could Be Mine, November Rain, and Garden of Eden. Customized with stickers of clothing company No Fear and Californian punk band Social Distortion, both of which were in the neck position and seen on the Use Your Illusion tour. The No Fear bass was used to record most of the Tokyo show in 1992. Later Guns N' Roses videos had footage from the same tour, and included all of the basses previously mentioned, as well as an LP B3, which is also seen in the footage. The Jazz Bass Special has been used to record all of the Guns N' Roses albums, and is clearly a workhorse being used and abused on tour. During the height of Guns N' Roses days, there were a few other basses Duff used on occasion, but not usually seen. In Sweet Child of Mine, he used the Kramer 4M3, and in 1988 on an MTV special, Live at the Ritz, he used Spectre NS2. Both basses had the same pickup configuration as his Jazz Bass Special. There is a photo of him using a BC Rich Warlock, but it doesn't look like he kept it up very long. Guns N' Roses parted their way in 1997 due to differences. Duff then contributed to a long list of bands, most notably Velvet Revolver. We talk about the basses used in Velvet Revolver and the associated acts later in the series. A link for that will be in the show notes. But after nearly 10 years of hinting and teasing of a reformation of Guns N' Roses, it finally happened. He officially rejoined Guns N' Roses in 2016. Duff and Slash buried the hatchet with Axl and took to the Coachella stage in California, where he was seen playing an old Jazz Bass Special. As of summer 2017, Guns N' Roses are still on tour and will be right up until November. Most of Duff's gear for the Not In This Lifetime tour remains the same as his Appetite for Destruction gear, which is awesome. What? I'm a fan. He still rocks the Jazz Bass Specials, which are now his signature basses made by Fender, but these basses have a twist. Noticeably, one of the white Jazz Bass Specials now displays the love symbol, made famous by the artist formerly known as Prince, who died in 2016. Duff is always cited as being saved by Prince and flashes it with pride. Also on this bass is a blonde pin-up model in the neck position. Whilst his Guns N' Roses gear has remained the same for decades now and continues to look that trend, he has shown some pictures on his Twitter account of several custom prototypes recently added to his collection. So to finish this episode, we have 2 new custom Fender Jazz Bass Specials, 2 of which have rosewood fingerboards and a precision style neck. One has a pickguard and a 3-way selector switch with no TBX, and the other lack of a pickguard and a 3-way selector switch and a TBX installed. This bass also has a decal of the LA band Body Count. He also has a second type of Jazz Bass Special that looks like a standard Jazz Bass neck based on its Perluoy block inlays. This one has a pickguard with a maple neck and fingerboard. It's unclear if the third knob here is a blend knob or an original TBX. And finally, a 4th Jazz Bass Special, but the only change here is a 3-way pickup selector switch, lack of a pickguard and a TBX installed. This bass also has a sticker of the band Social Distortion. With all this talk of a regular jazz bass, is it possible Duff has finally grown accustomed to the thinner, slimmer jazz bass neck? Who knows? In part 2 of the Duff McKagan series, we cover his amplifiers, strings and effects pedals. But if you're looking for more basses and gear used in bands like Velvet Revolver, Loaded and Walking Papers, you'll want to stay tuned for part 3. Links will be below to all of the videos in the show notes, which is full of the little details we couldn't include. If you found the video informative, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, as I really appreciate that and it helps the channel to grow. If there's a rig rundown you would like to see, let me know in the comments, as requests are now coming in. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in part 2.